The Young and the Restless scoop for Wednesday, November 19th reveals Claire Newman will put her revenge plan against Audra Charles in motion. Also coming up, Lily Winters will tell Holden Novak to leave town. Plus, Phyllis Summers will ask Kane Ashby if he took her to bed to gain access to her laptop. Why in our spoilers tease Claire will show up at the ranch. Nikki Newman will ask if she's missing the bright lights of Hollywood. Then she'll wonder how her granddaughter is feeling about her situation with Kyle Abbott. But Claire will say she's not ready for a serious relationship. She'll get a text, smile, and tell Nikki it's from Holden. "We are meeting for drinks later," Claire will say. "That's what I want right now, a good time, no strings attached." Nikki will tell her it's a good attitude to have and she should take her time. But Claire will say no matter who she's with, there's someone who is always involved, and Nikki will guess it's Audra. At Society, Lily will ask Kane and Phyllis what they're doing there. Kane will say he was having a nightcap in Phyllis's suite. Lily will ask when they got so familiar, and Phyllis will say it's none of her business. Kane will tell her he's not going to apologize. Then Phyllis will accuse Lily of acting like a jealous ex. "I'm not jealous," she'll reply. "I'm just incredibly disappointed." So, Kane will ask to talk to Lily privately. He'll say he doesn't need her lecturing him every time he sees her. "It's not what you think," he'll add. "I just need a little bit of time here." Lily will say that's funny, that's what she asked for in the message she left him. Kane will ask if they can meet for breakfast and talk it out. But she'll look over at Phyllis and tell Kane she's busy. "Then I am wasting my time," he'll reply and leave with Phyllis. Lily will head to this bar and Holden will show up. She'll be nasty when he approaches her and ask if he's still working for Kane. Holden will try to make small talk, so Lily will say she assumes he is. She'll ask what he does, and he'll say he manages Kane's properties. "For now," she'll reply. Holden will ask what she means, and Lily will tell him Arabesque is being dismantled and will soon fold. "If I were you, I would seriously consider moving back to LA and finding a new job." As Lily leaves, Audra will walk in. "Looks like someone got bad news," she'll say to Holden. "I can't think of anyone who deserves it more." Then she'll mention Claire, and Holden will tell her she should steer clear. Audra will say she's pretty sure Claire would have a much different attitude towards her and towards Holden if she knew everything. "Stop antagonizing her. We both have way too much to lose if the rest of the story comes out," he'll reply. Audra will head to the ladies' room, and Claire will come in. She'll flash back to the first time she met Holden, and he introduced her to Vespers, and she'll smile. Then Claire will see Audra will rejoin Holden, and she'll get angry. "Why won't that bitch just stay out of my life?" Claire will ask herself as she pulls out her phone. She'll put in a call to Billy Abbott. "I have some information about Audra Charles that I think you'd like to know," she'll say in a message, adding she'd like to meet with him and Sally Spectra first thing in the morning. Finally, Phyllis and Kane will end up at Crimson Lights, and he'll say he doesn't regret their dalliance. "I wanted you then, and I want you now." He'll say he wants to hear everything she's thinking. "Everything?" she'll reply. "Like what's the password to my laptop?" Kane will say he thought he'd dig around and see if she is the software thief. Phyllis will tell him she figured by the time she was in the shower, he'd be digging into her laptop. "Did you sleep with me just to get my hard drive?" But Kane will say he wanted her as badly as she wanted him. Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, November 20th, reveal that Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, will stalk Sharon Newman at her hotel while Noah Newman and Sienna Bacall's lives are at stake. Sharon wasn't pleased about staying behind while Nick Newman dashed off to meet with Detective Burrow, but Nick insisted he should go alone. Unfortunately, that'll leave Sharon alone too when Matt sets off some literal alarm bells at the hotel. An alarm will indeed blare and leave Sharon rattled, but she'll be even more unsettled by the sight of a menacing Matt at her door. Matt will barge inside for a tense encounter with Sharon, but she'll shove down her fear and stand up to him. Sharon has been through way too much in recent years to let Matt have that kind of power over her, so she'll show her courage and strength on Thursday's Y&R episode. Over with Nick, he'll seek proof that Detective Burrow is a dirty cop. Nick will also want to score the upper hand on Matt and finally end this nightmare, but there'll be some snags along the way. Fortunately, Nick should have some backup since Catherine Kresge will make her debut as Detective Annie Stewart on Thursday's show. Unlike Burrow, Detective Stewart will hopefully be someone trustworthy and helpful regarding the investigation. That investigation will include trying to find Noah and Sienna since they're both missing. Y&R fans will eventually see Sienna push an unconscious Noah to wake up, so he'll indeed regain consciousness and wonder what's going on. Noah and Sienna's lives will be on the line in captivity thanks to Matt and Burrow. Although Sienna may start to panic, Noah will offer reassurance and perhaps hope that his parents will come through on a rescue mission. Noah will no doubt realize he was wrong to lash out at Sharon and Nick when they were clearly telling the truth about shady Mitch, aka Matt. The Young and the Restless, spoilers, say Noah and Sienna will make it out of this jam alive, but we'll bring you updates on all the scary news ahead in the meantime. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Kane Ashby and Phyllis Summers will cause some wedding crasher chaos. These uninvited guests will manage to derail the big event as Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti celebrate their long-awaited remarriage. Danny and Christine are going for simple elegance when it comes to their nuptials. The main goal is to just embrace their love and feel the warmth all around them. But no soap wedding would be complete without a dramatic moment or two. Y&R will kick off the wedding with Part 1 on November 21st, which will be followed by Part 2 on November 24th. At some point during the marriage festivities, Phyllis and Kane will come along to make things messy. Phyllis has seemingly made peace with Danny remarrying Christine, even if she doesn't think it's the right call. Danny could do much better as far as Phyllis is concerned, but she's accepted that they're going to wed whether she approves or not. That said, Phyllis may see an easy opportunity to make some trouble for Christine and Danny on their wedding day. It may be Phyllis who gives Kane a nudge to crash the event and tell two guests in particular how sorry he is. Amy Lewis and Nina Webster both lost their sons thanks to all the mayhem that went down in Nice. It wasn't Kane's fault that his mentally unstable assistant went off the rails, but he still feels responsible on some level for what Carter did. If Kane had never invited Damian Kane and Chance Chancellor to that party for all his mind games, then there's a good chance they'd both still be alive right now. Kane may acknowledge that forgiveness is perhaps too much to ask, but he'll at least want to convey how apologetic he is in person. Y&R spoilers say Kane will corner Nina and Amy with remorse in his heart, so he'll apologize profusely for the tragic losses they've both had to endure. If there was a way for Kane to take it all back, he absolutely would. However, all Kane can do now is move forward and hope to find some way to make amends. It looks like Kane will spill all this to Amy and Nina, but he may at least wait until the reception when it comes to the wedding crasher surprise. Phyllis will also be lurking nearby and may not be able to resist taking a jab or two at Christine. Danny and Gina Roma will do their best to stop Phyllis from creating a scene, but she may flash a phony smile and pretend to be supportive in the end. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Christine and Danny may have to make some updates to their wedding plans after shocking news hits, so stay tuned. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Wednesday, November 19th, 2025, have Nikki giving Claire a history lesson, Audra plotting her next move, and Lily commiserating with Holden. Claire grew up outside of the Newman family thanks to her Aunt Jordan, who poisoned her niece's mind against them. A lot of things happened in between Claire being whisked away from the hospital as an infant and when she was reunited with her family decades later. That's a lot of storylines to miss. Nikki and Victor split up and got back together a few times. Claire's niece Abby was born, and so many other things happened. On Wednesday's show, watch for Nikki to give Claire a history lesson. How much history will Nikki give her granddaughter? It could take up several episodes. Audra could use a break. She lost funding for Vibrante from Victor after failing to break up Kyle and Claire. Now, Sally had to put a pin in terms of hiring Audra at Abbott Communications because of Jill. Audra traded barbs with Claire at Crimson Lights. At times, Claire's remark definitely made an impact on Audra. On Wednesday's show, watch for Audra to plot her next move. Is she going to make a play for Kyle to get under Claire's skin? Or will she try to improve her position in the business world? Perhaps Kane needs a new ally since Phyllis betrayed him by giving Victor the AI software. Lily is at a crossroads. She found herself defending Kane to Adam and Chelsea recently. She knows on one hand that Kane didn't handle his big gala in Nice correctly, and he also botched the whole AI situation. On Wednesday's show, watch for Lily to commiserate with Holden. He knows about loss, and the two are bonded over the fact that his pal and her new beau, Damien, died last summer. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of November 24-28 indicate that Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, will get backed into a corner while Claire Newman makes a mess. The show's Thanksgiving Day schedule has also been revealed. So let's talk about what's in store. For starters, Y&R will deliver the second part of a 2-episode wedding event. After Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti's marriage ceremony begins on November 21st, it'll continue on November 24th, with plenty more surprises at the nuptials. There'll be many guests cheering the happy couple on, including Nina Webster, Gina Roma, Amy Lewis, and more. Michael Baldwin will serve as the officiant for Danny and Christine's big day, which definitely won't be free of drama. Phyllis Summers and Kane Ashby will stir up some issues after crashing the bash, but Christine and Danny's love will prevail. Danny and Christine's wedding will indeed be completed, so there's no need to worry about these two when it comes to the blissful future they deserve. We should also mention that Y&R will be airing a repeat on Thursday, November 27th. The show won't be new on Thanksgiving, but you can still tune in for a special encore of Christine and Danny's first wedding back in 1990. As for the current action, Matt Clark, aka Mitch, will get backed into a corner thanks to Nick Newman and Sharon Newman soon, but he won't let that keep him down for long. Once Noah Newman and Sienna Bacall wiggle out of Matt's clutches, they're eventually going to join Sharon and Nick in Genoa City. Although Nick and Sharon will think they've got the upper hand on Matt after a big climax that's coming up, Matt will follow the whole gang back to GC to unleash more of his fury. In the meantime, let's talk about Claire, since she'll presumably move forward with her plan to give Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra updates on Audra Charles's Los Angeles history. Claire will apparently meet with Sally and Billy to discuss how Audra stole that cashier's check for $500,000 and changed her name so the duped guy couldn't track her down. Although Billy may think this is more proof that Audra can't be trusted and isn't the right fit for Abbott Communications, Sally may be a bit more torn. Since Sally has made past mistakes of her own, she may think Audra deserves a clean slate. Sally is hoping she can ultimately convince Jill Abbott that Audra will be an asset for the company rather than a liability. If Jill hears about Claire's Audra dirt, that could make it even tougher for Sally to get her on board. As for Audra, she'll end up furious when she inevitably finds out Claire's trying to make trouble for her. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Audra could retaliate against Claire in a big way, so stay tuned for any alarming news to come. The Young and the Restless viewers and all eyes in Genoa City will be on the bride when Christine Blair remarries Danny Romalotti, starting Friday, November 21st. While Chris's wedding dress has been chosen, having been voted on by fans, what fans may not know is that Selena Gomez played an indirect role in what the bride ended up wearing on her big day. "We found this incredible dress that the viewers voted on," Laura Lee Bell told Variety. What voters may not have known was that the dress that was chosen was a bit of a challenge to stand in for lengthy periods of time. Y&R's costume designer, Mandy Line, came up with an idea of a second dress that Belle could wear for the reception. Christine isn't the only bride to wear multiple dresses on her wedding day. Belle and Lane recalled how Gomez wore a trio of Ralph Lauren dresses for her big day. If you think that Belle wore one of the other two gown contenders that viewers voted on, you'd be wrong. Belle says that Line recalled a fourth contender that appeared too casual for the ceremony, but was actually a perfect fit for the reception. The groom, played by Damien, is going to wear a Tom Ford tuxedo. "I had like 6 layers of Spanx on," chuckles Danny's portrayer. Danny will have a diamond pin on his lapel in the form of a C, which stands for both Christine and the name many fans know her as, Cricket. The fans have been probably the most supportive on the planet and really just have stuck with us all these years and have not lost faith, says Damien. Belle believes that first love is more powerful than one could ever imagine. You always think of that person, always, says the actress. She theorizes that Danny and Christine never would have divorced had Phyllis not drugged Danny and duped him into thinking that her son, Daniel, was his. The truth came out, and Phyllis lost custody of her then-toddler son a few years later. But by then, Chris had moved on to a life with Paul, a man she married and divorced. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Nick Newman and Detective Annie Stewart may team up so they could work together to expose dirty Detective Burrow and find Matt Clark, a.k.a. Mitch Bacall's hostage. Nick and Sharon Newman were suspicious of Detective Burrow from the very beginning, but now they're more concerned than ever about him secretly working for Matt. Sharon and Nick are eager to find a detective who isn't being paid to do Matt's dirty work, so that may be where Detective Annie Stewart comes in. Detective Stewart will join this Y&R storyline starting November 20th, which is also when Nick will go on the hunt for some intel. Unlike Detective Burrow, it sounds like Detective Stewart will be the one to provide some genuine police help. Nick may take his concerns about Burrow to Stewart and get confirmation that he's up to no good. Perhaps Detective Burrow is already on Detective Stewart's radar when it comes to shady activities. Whatever the case, Nick may join forces with Stewart on a plan to back Burrow into a corner and put a stop to his side hustle working for Matt. Of course, Burrow may be the only one besides Matt who knows where Noah Newman and Sienna Bacall are, so Stewart and Nick may have to be careful here. However, there's the potential for Burrow to surrender information if he's offered a deal and a chance to save himself. Burrow might be the one to give up Sienna and Noah's captivity location in the end. Noah and Sienna will indeed find themselves stuck somewhere thanks to Matt's plot, as well as Burrow's cooperation. Sienna and Noah might try to find an exit route on their own, but there's no guarantee they'll be able to flee without some assistance. Nick and Detective Stewart could work together on Noah and Sienna's rescue, especially if Burrow cracks under the pressure and supplies info that leads to their location. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Detective Stewart may become a pivotal part of the story and uncover important news related to the case, so stick with us for updates on her part in all this. On the Tuesday, November 18th, episode of The Young and the Restless, Nick told Victor that Matt Clark is alive, and targeting Noah, Kane, and Phyllis slept together, and Lily confronted Victor about Kane's stolen AI program. Back in Los Angeles, Nick informed Victor that Noah had checked himself out of the hospital and ordered the guard to leave his post. He explained how Noah and Sienna were involved in an affair, and Nick urged him to continue digging into her past. Nick hadn't been able to reach Noah or Sienna, so he worried that Noah was in danger. Victor promised to have Michael keep searching for answers. Nick understood that Noah had built a life for himself, but he had many secrets. They were upset by Noah's cheating, and while that was serious in its own right, there were far more important issues on the horizon. To Victor's bewilderment, Nick revealed that Matt Clark was back. His father asked for clarification, and Nick explained how Matt was behind Noah's accident. Matt was bent on revenge, and Noah served as the perfect leverage. Neither understood how Matt survived his supposed death, and the danger level of Noah sleeping with Matt's wife drastically increased with the truth exposed. Nick walked him through how Noah kicked him and Sharon out of his hospital room after learning about Matt. Since then, they've been unable to make contact with Noah. However, Nick believed that Detective Burrow was on Matt's payroll. Victor vowed that Matt would either end up dead or in prison, but Nick wanted him dead, and he needed to see it for himself. Nikki spotted Lily at Society, and they were glad to see each other. She asked if Victor would be joining her, and Nikki wondered whether that was a good thing or a bad thing. They briefly discussed Noah's accident, and Lily wished him a speedy recovery. Lily got a call from her daughter and gave her the rundown on her latest conversation with Kane. Lily asked Maddie to trust her judgment, and she insisted that Kane was making strides toward returning to his former self. Maddie refused to hear Lily out, and she reminded her daughter that she missed her father. She hoped that she had enough time to sit with the situation so that she could find a path toward forgiveness. Lily reminded Maddie that she had issues with Neil in the past as well, so she understood the father-daughter tension. The conversation ended on a tense note, and Lily reflected on a conversation with Kane. She wanted him to prove that his words weren't just lip service, and that he was ready to prove it. Nikki made her way to her own table and was joined by Jack. She couldn't take her eyes off Lily, and she got the impression that Lily was back on her ex-husband's good side. Jack was disappointed that Kane might have found a way to drag Lily back into his clutches. He made a dig about Victor, saying that things were great until he woke up every day. And then he remembered that the mustache was alive and that Nikki was married to him. Nikki quipped, "How does Diane feel about that? That Victor is your first thought and I'm your second." Jack realized he walked directly into that trap, but Nikki knew he'd take it in stride. The topic shifted to Victor's ruthlessness, and he asked how she'd react if he targeted people she cared about. Jack was heartbroken that Nikki would sit idly while he ravaged the companies of everyone else in town. Nikki assured Jack she wouldn't spill any of Victor's secrets, but he asserted that he didn't want anything from her. Nikki wondered if Diane had slipped yet and showed off her true colors. She also took responsibility for Victor's newfound vendetta against Jack due to everything reigniting when he helped her get sober. As nice as Nikki's sentiment was, nothing and nobody was going to prevent Victor from unleashing the program on Jabot. Jack couldn't believe that Victor was focused on attacking companies when their family was dealing with Noah's crisis. Nikki wanted peace for everyone, but Jack knew a plan of attack was in the works. He warned her to have Victor prepared for his reintegration. Lily dropped by the Newman Ranch and outright asked Victor if he swiped Kane's AI program. He joked about being at the top of everyone's suspect list. She thought Kane losing the program was a wake-up call for him because it afforded him the chance to leave his Aristotle Dumas persona behind. Lily expressed fear that Victor would use the program against Winters, which offended him. He told her she had nothing to worry about, but Jabot wouldn't be so lucky. Before the conversation continued, Adam arrived at the ranch, so Lily promptly exited. Victor divulged the details of Matt Clark to Adam and asked him to compile all of Matt's former crimes so he could go after Matt himself. Adam asked if Nick needed backup in Los Angeles, and Victor was pleased to hear that he was willing to assist his brother. Seeing Adam put himself in potential harm's way to help Nick warmed his heart. However, Victor told Adam to stay put until they heard more from Nick. Adam also provided an update on Abbott Communications, finally uncovering the mystery investor's name as Jill Abbott. Adam wondered whether Victor could persuade Jill to cut the company's funding so he could break the news to Billy at the launch party. Once he had Billy distracted, it was time to make a move on Jabot. Kane and Phyllis continued their connection in her suite, and they couldn't contain the passion between them. After their samba in the sheets, Kane realized that Phyllis always felt that they'd end up in bed together. She didn't think pretending to be just friends would last long. The topic shifted to Phyllis's behavior when she gets angry, and she admitted she goes scorched earth when she's wronged. She promised that he was in the clear from her warpath, and he asked what would happen next between them. Phyllis said the next phase of their relationship was up to Kane. He recalled the pair never crossing paths in a significant way when he previously lived in Genoa City. Neither were the same people they were all of those years ago, and Phyllis wanted to live in the present. Kane suggested they move their conversation to the shower, and he told her he'd get room service while she set up the water festivities. Before she left for the shower, they kissed a bit more. Once Phyllis was safely out of the room, Kane searched for her computer, presumably looking for evidence that she had stolen his program. He was nervous that the computer would lock him out before he could gain access. Unfortunately for Kane, she caught him in the act because it took him so long to get in. She listened in as he tried to uncover the password, but instead of calling him out, she slipped back into the shower and asked him to join. Lily returned to the GCAC, and before leaving, she was seemingly ready to give Kane another chance after thinking carefully about it. Instead, she encountered Kane and a barely dressed Phyllis at the stairs, clearly aware of what had just occurred between the two. Nick reunited with Sharon at the hotel and got her up to speed about his conversation with Victor. nobody would take their concerns about Matt being behind Noah's crash seriously. Nick knew that no matter what, Noah and Sienna were together somewhere. It was either of their own initiative, or Matt caught on to the affair, and he was exacting his revenge. Nick leaned toward the more heartbreaking option, and he was determined to track down Detective Burrow to get some answers. Faith texted for an update on Noah, and Sharon had no idea how much information they should share with the family. Nick promised that Victor would do whatever he could, but he didn't want to involve anyone else yet. Burrow returned Nick's correspondence and asked him to look into Noah's current whereabouts. Nick set up a meeting with Burrow, and although Sharon was prepared to tag along, he urged her to stay put. The insinuation that Sharon needed protection didn't sit well with her. Burrow asked Nick to come alone, which Sharon believed to be a trap. He didn't think Burrow would do anything criminal to him because of his status as a law enforcement officer. Nick pledged to keep Sharon informed about the situation. He told Sharon that Burrow should be more worried about him, not the other way around. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that disgusted Lily Winters will leave town over Kane Ashby's Phyllis Summers mistake. Will Lily reject her ex's plea and declare she's done with Kane for good? The countdown is on when it comes to Crystal Khalil's maternity leave, so fans are eager to see how Y&R might write Lily out for a bit. The show may be opening up an easy exit path for Lily based on the latest Kane and Phyllis developments. After all, it was a little odd when Lily suddenly started defending Kane out of the blue and showing compassion that she wasn't really showing before. The real reason for that may have been to set Lily up for a disappointment that could drive her right out of Genoa City. It's possible some of the sparks between Kane and Phyllis are real, but they're definitely manipulating each other. After getting passionate in the November 18th episode, Phyllis spied on Kane as he tried to guess her password and sneak on her laptop to find proof she stole the AI program. Of course, Phyllis didn't tell Kane what she saw and let him continue their passion in the shower. Lily later saw the pair coming downstairs together, looking like a happy couple, which Kane definitely didn't plan on. Since Kane was so willing to jump in bed with Phyllis for whatever reason, Lily may decide she's done entertaining the idea of a second chance. Part of Lily wanted to believe that maybe Kane was right about their next chapter, but Kane may have just thrown cold water on that fantasy by sizzling with Phyllis. Even if Kane tries to explain his manipulation, that may not change Lily's mind. Kane might plead with Lily to understand, but she may reject his games and decide she needs to put some distance between them. This could lead to Lily taking an extended vacation from Winters and spending some time with the twins off-screen. Even if Lily continues working, she could do it remotely and perhaps focus on a project outside of GC. Regardless, Lily may be so disgusted with Kane that she decides to leave town temporarily. Lily can come back after Crystal Khalil's maternity leave is over, but she needs a reason to exit in the meantime. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest Kane's Phyllis screw-up may tie in with Lily's departure strategy, so stay tuned for updates on the bad news that may be headed his way. Y&R is lacking in couples to root for on the CBS show, The Young and the Restless. Phyllis and Kane hooking up was not on our bingo card for this year. However, we don't hate it, and we know that's not a popular opinion. But hear us out. It was shocking to see Phyllis and Kane get physical for sure, but their connection is undeniable. Watching these two be vulnerable, all while knowing they each have their own agenda, is what makes good soap couples. There's no question these two are out to screw each other over. Kane and Phyllis are only looking out for number one. That gives them a bond, especially since they are also outcasts and villains in Genoa City, making them even more interesting as a couple. We get it. Many Y&R fans don't see the chemistry between Flynn and Stafford. They may not have sparks flying all over the place, but there's heat with Phyllis and Kane. It's just not in the same way as other couples when Y&R was known for love in the afternoon. The CBS soap could definitely use some more spice, which the unlikely duo definitely brings to the table. Honestly, watching Kane and Phyllis hook up is more entertaining than some of the rest of the scenes lately. Over on Reddit, several Y&R fans were here for more of Phyllis and Kane. I'm so here for Kane and Phyllis getting it on, Lily, Crystal Khalil, having second thoughts, and for Audra, Zuleika Silver, and Claire, Haley Aaron, getting into it. "That is why it are to me," wrote a fan. Another fan said, "Phyllis and Kane really have excellent chemistry," while a different fan stated, "I mean, I'm not hating it." One fan declared, "Kane and Phyllis is absolutely the best thing about today's episode. Do not care about the Adam, Mark Grossman, / Chelsea, Melissa Claire Egan, Lily discussion, or the Claire, Holden, Nathan Owens, whatever they are. I know there is some major lies and shadiness between Phyllis and Kane, but dang! Figure out a way to keep these two together. Maybe just a good old-fashioned distrust to true love. Just do it." A different Reddit thread titled, "I'm sorry Phyllis and Kane look awkward together," had a few YNR fans come out as stans for Kane and Phyllis. "I think they're hot together," expressed a fan. One fan shared, "I think they make a hot couple, not awkward at all. The show needs a little spice. I like them. It's no forever or true love thing. They have chemistry, so why not?" Spilled another fan. "Phyllis and Kane certainly have fans talking these days. We feel like they have the potential to be a hot YNR couple in the new year. This is an unpopular opinion, we know. So let us hear your thoughts in the comments section below." Lucas Adams is facing a frightening real-life crisis as his sister recovers from a near-fatal head-on collision. Here's how the YNR star is stepping up. Lucas Adams, who portrays Noah Newman on The Young and the Restless, faced a terrifying real-life emergency the weekend of November 15th when his sister, Audrey Ferris, was seriously injured in a head-on collision kit used by a drunk driver. The actor shared the news on Instagram, revealing both the severity of the crash and the long recovery Audrey now faces, as well as the immediate need for support for her family of 10. Adams posted a photo of the totaled vehicle on his Instagram stories, a devastating image showing just how close the family came to a fatal tragedy. In his message, he explained that Audrey suffered a broken hip and foot and will require extensive recovery time. Her husband, Josh, was also in the vehicle. For a family with 8 children, the road ahead is daunting. Adams shared Audrey's Venmo to help with immediate medical and household needs, writing that any support would be very much appreciated. His post immediately galvanized fans, colleagues, and members of the daytime community who wanted to help. Unfortunately, as often happens online, someone attempted to take advantage of the situation. Shortly after Adams posted Audrey's real Venmo username, a scammer created a nearly identical account to trick donors. Sadly, someone is trying to exploit the situation and created a fake account, Adams warned in a follow-up message. He emphasized that the correct account is Audrey Ferris, all lowercase with one S. His quick clarification protected countless fans who were trying to donate in good faith. Adams first appeared on The Young and the Restless in 2012 as a day player before moving to Days of Our Lives, where he earned 2 Daytime Emmy nominations for his work as Trip Dalton. He returned to Days in 2020 and stayed through 2024. In November 2025, Adams officially stepped back into Genoa City as the new Noah Newman, debuting in the November 4th episode. His return generated excitement among fans, but now his focus is squarely on helping his family through an unimaginable ordeal. Kane crossed a line he can't undo, and Lily saw everything. The fallout from that moment will reshape every part of his life. In the November 18th episode of The Young and the Restless, Kane made a choice that shifted every emotional balance in his life. What began as a night of impulse and escape with Phyllis spiraled into something far more consequential when Lily witnessed them together, a moment that will reshape the Ashby family, Kane's future, and the entire fallout from Victor's wider war. Kane spent the evening drifting toward a version of himself he thought he'd buried, the one who built Duma, made reckless decisions, and let impulse eclipse judgment. Phyllis pulled him deeper into that identity with equal parts seduction and strategic pressure, framing their connection as liberation rather than betrayal. But the turning point wasn't the physical moment between them. It was what came immediately after. While Phyllis showered, Kane seized the opportunity to search her room and attempt to break into her laptop, convinced she might have targeted him in the AI debacle. The duality, desire and suspicion intertwined, underscored how fragile and volatile his state of mind has become. Lily, meanwhile, was at her own crossroads. She had defended Cain publicly, questioned Victor privately, and admitted her heart still recognized the man he used to be. She even asked Cain to prove his promises, but before she could decide whether to walk toward or away from him, she arrived at the GCAC just in time to see Cain and Phyllis descending together, laughing, intimately connected in a way she couldn't misinterpret. This is the moment that forces Lily to confront what she has been unwilling to fully accept. Cain hasn't rebuilt himself, he has unraveled. Her emotional defenses had been softening, shaped by memories and the hope that he could regain his footing. But seeing Cain with Phyllis shattered that illusion with a clarity nothing else could. For Cain, the consequences run even deeper. By choosing Phyllis in the most impulsive way possible and simultaneously trying to uncover whether she betrayed him, he confirmed that he no longer knows who to trust, or who he is. It's the Dumas mindset resurfacing in real time, fueled by desperation, fear, and a craving for validation. Phyllis exploits that instability, encouraging the very traits Lily can no longer tolerate. Lily's reaction, silent, stunned, final, sets the tone for what comes next. Even if Cain tries to repair the moment, the visual truth of what she saw overrides every promise he made earlier. It also ignites a new phase in the wider battle Victor is orchestrating. Cain's downward spiral makes him unpredictable, vulnerable, and more capable of drastic choices, exactly the kind of chaos that benefits Victor's agenda. For Phyllis, the door to something dangerous has opened. She has Cain's attention, his confusion, and the version of him she understands best. But Cain's attempt to hack her computer signals that this pairing is combustible in every direction. Melissa Claire Egan is recognized wherever she goes. With a day off, Melissa Claire Egan decided to indulge in some much-needed pampering. But her relaxing spa visit turned into an interesting experience for the young and the restless star. Between work and family, Egan has a busy schedule. However, the actress makes time for some TLC. On a recent day off, she decided to get her nails done. On her Instagram story, Egan posted a video of her getting a pedicure. The star looked relaxed as she was being pampered, but her visit took an interesting turn. "Always funny when this happens at the nail salon," the actress captioned the video, which then showed Y&R playing on the TV. Of all the scenes that played, it was one featuring Egan's Chelsea and Mark Grossman's Adam. As if the experience wasn't already funny enough, the salon workers immediately recognized the actress. Egan posted a photo of the employee watching Y&R and smiling at her. "They're adorable," the star wrote about the nail technicians. It was definitely a fun and cute experience for Egan. The day of pampering is just what the actress needed, because she's going to be busy with her upcoming filming schedule. Egan's newest fans from the nail salon seem to enjoy her work, and they'll be seeing more of the actress on screen. Chelsea and Adam are involved in the latest Newman family business drama. Thanks to Victor, the family stole Cain's AI software, and he's about to lose everything. Chelsea and Adam are toasting to their role in helping to bring Cain down. However, they may not be celebrating for much longer. The war between Cain and Victor is far from over, which means the mustache is rallying the troops. Chelsea and Adam will definitely be part of the battle, but they may regret their decision. Cain's bound to have a few tricks up his sleeves, and whatever he has planned means trouble for the Newman Empire. If Cain succeeds in his plan to bring down Victor, Chelsea and Adam will be casualties. Not only will the couple lose their jobs at Newman Media, but it might also impact their relationship. Cain seduced Phyllis to get information out of her. On the November 18th episode of The Young and the Restless, Cain and Phyllis took things to the hotel suite. Phyllis might think she's the one who's pulling the strings, but Cain was the one who was behind this seduction plot. Phyllis makes it clear to Cain that she was attracted to him. The two finally made it to her hotel suite before things went too far. She told Cain that she's been wanting to do this. After they slept together, Phyllis told Cain that she was glad they had taken their relationship to the next level. She assumed they were friends, but she was glad that wasn't the case. But Cain wanted to know what happened next. He told her they should take their conversation to the shower. She went along with it while he ordered room service. Kane searched her room while Phyllis was in the bathroom. He sat at her laptop, trying to figure out her password. Phyllis might think she successfully bedded Kane, but he's been pulling the strings all along. It was Kane's idea to fall into bed with Phyllis so he could get information out of her. He's still convinced that she has his AI program. He told himself, "You messed with my systems. Now it's time for me to mess with yours." Phyllis wondered what Kane was doing in the bedroom without her. But now there's another plot twist in this drama. Phyllis spotted Kane trying to access her computer, but she didn't give anything away. Instead, she called for him to join her in the shower. Kane quickly closed her laptop and ran into the bathroom. It sounds like these two are already onto each other. Kane has a feeling that Phyllis has his AI program. He wants to know who could end up with it. Meanwhile, Phyllis discovered the real reason why Kane had slept with her. He was just trying to get information out of her. They're both using each other in this point, and they're going to crash and burn because of it. Kane can forget the idea of getting back with Lily. At the end of Tuesday's episode, she walked into the GCAC as Kane and Phyllis walked down the stairs into the lobby. They were laughing and smiling at one another. Lily got one good look at Phyllis's lacy dress and knew what was going on. She realized that Kane hadn't changed at all. He's driving a dangerous seduction and ruining his chances of reconciliation. Find out why Lily's loss is Phyllis's gain on Y&R.